right, everybody. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day today. If you don't know who I am, my name's Kylie Neal, and today we are joined by Dr. Tammy Wilson with Flint Veterinary Clinic today, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about some things that you might want to know for your furry friend. And it's a topic we don't talk about a lot, but pet insurance. It's something we need to talk about. So let's kind of break the details down. The details of insurance, it can get a little complicated.
Yes.
I would know for one because I have a dog like we talk about all the time. And if it wasn't for you guys and a little research, I wouldn't know what pet insurance is all about. So can you explain that to our viewers? What is pet insurance?
A little bit. It works similar to human insurance in some regards. It basically was concepts that had started 20, 30 years ago, where they were looking at ways to offer help to pet parents with veterinary expenses. Looking at whether it's an accident, an illness, an emergency, ongoing pet care. It was a way that owners could have help with some of their pets' medical expenses. Most of the pet insurance companies work a little bit differently than the human version, meaning that you'll have a pet policy. It can be for a single pet, it can be for multiple pets. You can sign up anytime during your pet's life. There's some type of a deductible with most of them, and those deductibles I've seen range anywhere from $100 to $1,500. Now that can be per event, per time frame, per month. So there's different plans. There's so many different companies. So there's different plans that have a different deductible, but usually the deductibles work in a way that you would pay a certain amount and then the insurance kicks in. After the insurance kicks in, then it would pay a percentage of a particular vet bill. And I've seen, again, ranges anywhere from, on average, probably 70 to 90% is paid. Now, a lot of the pet insurance plans work on more of a reimbursement type of scenario, meaning that you would go into your clinic or a specialist or an emergency situation, and you would need to pay the bill. And then you would submit the bill along with any relevant medical records. The plan would have that information, see what plan you were on and what would apply to your pet, and then they would reimburse you a certain amount. And that's usually, most pet parents have told me, it's usually like 1 to 3 weeks. There is one plan that I know of, and I apologize, I am drawing a blank on the name, but I know there is one that does have a plan worked out where they would get paid via the veterinarian and you wouldn't have to pay out of pocket, but I think that's pretty rare. Most of them work on a way that would be more of a reimbursement. And they tend to be pretty quick in getting some of that money back to you. And they do have a few exclusions for certain scenarios, meaning when you sign up for a plan, if there's an emergency, there may be a 24 or 48-hour waiting period before you can use your plan for that emergency. If it's, a general illness, there may be no waiting period, or with some policies, there may be a 1-week waiting period.
Right.
There are also some certain conditions that may have a 1-month waiting period. So it kind of depends on what plan specifics are on if there's a little bit of a waiting period. And I think the main reason that they do that is because they don't want to run into a situation where you sign up for something that's already an ongoing problem and then try to sign up for insurance for that after a medical condition has already started. So they try to do a little bit of a waiting period just to make sure that the system isn't being overused.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the policies.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to break down some of the policies that common insurances cover. Accidents, illnesses, routine care, prescription meds. What about euthanizing your pet too?
Again, there's a lot of different plan options, and even within the same company, there's different parts of a plan that are available. So probably the most basic would be an emergency or accident plan. It's the least expensive, and it covers just that. If there's a sudden injury, if there's a cut, if there's a laceration, if there's a fall down, if there's things like that that's legitimately an injury or an accident, those are covered again, and it falls within the deductible and the repayment schedule. There's more of a comprehensive plan, and those cover illnesses beyond emergencies and accidents, ongoing medical care, ongoing illnesses, things that are needing more diagnostics, lab testing, x-rays, multiple visits, things like that. So those are covered under the more comprehensive plans. There are wellness plans where you can add on annual exams, annual vaccines, parasite treatment, things like that. I don't know how advantageous those are for most people because sometimes the extra amount on your monthly payment, your monthly premium, doesn't really cover the cost of the annual visit. So sometimes those aren't really that efficacious.
Right.
But it's kind of up to you to decide which level you want. A lot of them do cover euthanasias. I do know that a lot of the plans don't cover body care of the pet afterwards. So it may cover the euthanasia itself. But it might not cover if you do like a private cremation. Usually the comprehensive plans cover just regular vet clinics as well as emergency centers and specialists and things like that. And there's generally not a need for pre-authorization. It's never a bad idea for the pet parent to call if they're going in for a specialist or something like that, to just double check that. But there's so many different options that you can usually find something that's going to fit your single pet, your multiple pet, things like that.
Well, if you could think of any examples where insurance really came through for a pet owner and a pet, which example would you think of?
A couple. So there's two, and I did check with the pet owners before this. I just wanted to make sure that they were okay with me telling a little bit of their story without the names or anything. We had actually one of our technicians had a sweet little Australian Shepherd with a lump on her neck, and we did some basic diagnostics there at our clinic. Turned out to be thyroid cancer, and went to Dallas, went and visited a specialist, had surgery, came back, and this sweet little girl is about 8 months past her thyroid surgery. She is doing great. She is back to doing her activities. She's a sporting dog and has had a clean bill of health ever since. And the pet insurance they had on her paid for 90% of all of that.
That is amazing.
We had another big guy, big sweet mixed breed dog that came in that was having, some difficulty going to the bathroom. We did some diagnostics there, and he turned out that he had prostate cancer. And while that's a shorter term prognosis, their pet insurance was able to get them up to a specialist. They did some medical procedures there that gave, many, many months where he was comfortable to give the family some extra time, and the pet insurance paid for the majority of that. So those are the two that kind of recently come into my
just
mind.
From those two examples, it sounds like it can be beneficial for some families that really either need the extra time or can help save their pet. So, and it saves them money at the same time.
Yes.
Well, let's kind of ask you just two more questions. Do you think insurance is good or needed for every pet parent?
What I would say with that is if it's financially available for your family, I cannot think of a reason why it would be a bad thing to have for your pet.
Right.
It's kind of like car insurance, house insurance. You may pay and pay and pay and not use it. You might not use it for a year or 2 years, but if there's that instance where you need it, you are going to be so thankful that you have it. And it's usually those emergency situations, those I have to go into the ER and spend the weekend and I'm there for 3-4 days. Yeah. It could mean the difference between you need to put your pet to sleep or you're actually able to provide treatment. So it can be legitimately something that may save your pet. The other time when I've seen it really benefit families is when a pet has an illness and we'll wait, we'll see if it gets better, we'll let it go, and things kind of go on for weeks or months before they're like, this is not getting better on its own, and they bring the pet in to get it seen. And it's a condition that if we had seen it months before, it had much more availability for options and treatment and care. But we're just at the point now where it's so far along that their options are not there anymore. So with pet insurance, it may have been a situation where it's like, you know what, we have insurance. It doesn't cost us anything, or very much to get fluffy checked. We're going to go in, we're going to get it checked out.
Oh, yeah.
And it may put us in a situation where we can treat something where months down the road we weren't able to. So I think if it's something you're able to do, it's not a bad idea. There may be some pets that are more accident prone that repetitively get out of the yard, that repetitively
dog.
eat strange things, that,
Yeah.
have ongoing allergies. So there may be scenarios where for your pet that might have an issue, or certain breeds are more prone to health
Yeah.
problems. And so if you have a breed that's very high risk for a certain problem, it may pay off very quickly.
Well, I mean, I'll give you one example.
Okay.
When my dog was a puppy, I think he was about 6 or 7 months, and he
Yeah.
was already fully grown. This dude's
Okay.
just a horse. He's he's a big boy.
Yeah.
We ended up. I was in college.
Yeah.
We went to practice one day.
Yeah.
I came back home, and my dog was just acting strange.
Yeah.
Lethargic.
Okay.
Almost. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is going
Something
on with
weird.
you?
Yeah.
Went to sleep that night. Woke up the next morning. He was throwing up water.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, we should probably take you to the ER vet,
Yeah.
because obviously my regular vet was closed.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't have pet insurance at the time.
Okay.
I was a new pet owner.
Okay.
Did not know anything.
Okay.
He ended up staying there. His enzyme levels and liver levels were off the charts.
Oh gosh. Okay.
He ended up getting into an old Smoothie King that was in the trash, and Smoothie King's made with xylitol.
Oh gosh.
And so he ended up being on an IV drip all night,
Yeah,
overnight.
yeah.
And let me tell you, some ERs are very expensive, but if you go to your normal vet,
Yeah.
you have pet insurance,
Yeah.
it'll save you that much more money.
Yes.
And it can be scary
Yeah.
for some pet owners that are like,
Yeah.
I can't afford to,
Yeah.
put you on an IV drip at night.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard.
We-
She's like, I get it. I
We
understand
do,
what
we
you're
do.
saying.
A lot of times we have to come up with other options, and sometimes with pet insurance we have the availability to do everything we're able to
Yeah.
do. And, while pets can survive quite a bit, there are situations where it absolutely can be a game changer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that was just an example too, because like dogs can get into literally anything, especially if it smells
Yes.
good in the trash,
or bad.
Yeah, or bad, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It could harm them, or
Yeah.
do whatever. If your dog's like mine, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes. Yes.
Well, is there anything else important for people to know when considering pet insurance?
I would say just do your research. Talk to your vet. See if there's a plan that the vet has worked with. There are some things that may be pre-existing that you might have to consider. They're going to ask for medical records. So there may be things where different plans have more options if your pet had had an injury in the past. So there's so many good plans out there, but your vet may have an idea on which one they've seen had the best rapport with, that cover a more broad variety of options. There are some plans that have discounts for veterans that have no deductibles, things like that.
Yeah.
So talk to your vet, do your research, take your own individual pet into account, and you should be able to find something pretty good.
All right. Well, Miss Wilson,
Yes.
thank you so much for
You're
having
very
us.
welcome.
Having you on here. I don't even know where I'm going with that. But thank you for talking a little bit more about pet insurance.
Yes.
It's always, great to have you here on the
Yes.
Texas Now Desk and chat with you. It's always fun, too, because I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, I probably
You
need to
learn
do
stuff.
that. I learn things. And I'm like, Remy, I'm coming home. I'm teaching you something new, right?
Yeah.
Well, we will chat with you in about 2 weeks, right?
Sounds good.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right.